I do a Facebook Live too.
I told my wife, I said, I think we might be on TV. She's like, really? I said, yeah, I think so. You don't got Dawn on? Oh, you can see Dawn?
Well, yeah, when I have a guest, I try to just focus on the guest.
I got a face for radio.
I mean, they've seen my face and Dawn's face multiple times, so.
So you didn't find anything on that particular song, Joe?
No, but I got the album up. The Jefferson Airplane album up.
We'll do that towards the end, right?
Yeah, towards the end.
Do you have anything,
What?
but nothing on the particular song, huh?
No.
See, it's funny how Wikipedia misses things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much stuff that...
Check something with the G League affiliate. They haven't hired a coach yet.
But the main cross?
Yeah, the main Celtics haven't hired a new coach yet because Alex Barlow actually was hired by Butler to be their assistant coach.
Okay.
You guys go out and go see Taylor Swift last night?
You tell me our tickets sold in 1 minute.
Oh, they flew off the shelves, yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
When this is all said and done, this is probably going to be the highest grossing tour of all time. When this is all said and done.
Yeah.
Now lead the series 3-0 and are 1 win away from their first ever trip to the NBA Finals.
I think it's over.
America's first.
The team has never bounced back from a 3-0 deficit in NBA history.
Yeah. I was thinking that they might be able to make it 0-2, but I don't think 0-3 now. They got to at least win one game.
I don't know if they're going to even win one. The way that they've been playing.
You think the Celtics will win one?
Oh, the Celtics will win several. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. I really do. You know, they struggled early on. I think they're going to bounce back tonight. I really do. If they don't, I mean, the series is over. We'll see.
Yeah.
Harrell had promised his fiancée the perfect wedding. That's according to a news release from the North Carolina Lottery. He said it's been almost a year to the day, and those promises will come true now. I'm Corey Myers, USA News.
Do you have a story to tell? Bring your story to life with audiobooks. Great stories deserve great storytelling. Audiobook Network provides professional voice actors and full production services for every author's manuscript. From narration, production, and editing, distribution, promotion, and sales, Audiobook Network handles everything. If
You know what? Maybe read the lyrics would be cool. Check that out. It's the lyrics. I think it's Paul Kent. I don't know. It's kind of. I was just looking and I don't know. Those are the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of
What's his name, Joe?
ownership or Hometown
What's his
Talk
name?
Radio.
Van
Content on
Drops.
all programs are those of the host.
Van Drops.
Quizzing him. You could always just say.
What does he have though?
You could say.
Hey, Joey, what's happening?
You got it then?
I mean, what's happening in Middleboro?
Yeah. I got the lyrics here.
Huh?
Is that you?
No, it's Tony.
No, it's Tony Lopes. Yeah.
All right.
For news, Middleboro News, here on AM
He's still, well, I know he moved, right?
No, he still goes to show. He's back.
He's back.
Yeah, he goes to Florida during the winter and then comes back.
Then he's back in spring or something. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. And we're here, and welcome to Middleboro in review. Today is the 21st of May, 2023. It is post Preakness Stakes Sunday. Preakness Stakes was yesterday. A very interesting result. Once again, no Triple Crown winner once again this year, but it's rare. It doesn't always happen every single year, so can't expect it to happen every year. Want to welcome in Don.
Morning, Joey.
Good morning, Don. How are you on this?
How you doing, my ball of sunshine over there?
much better Sunday than it was yesterday because it was raining.
Okay. Yeah, yesterday was definitely a wash. We got half the day in, right?
Yeah. And I want to welcome in our guest today, Pastor Ortez Vandross. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Don.
Hey, good morning, Pastor.
All right.
How you doing?
Glad to be here with you guys.
We've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yes, it's been we've been talking about it for a while, and I'm glad we were able to come together.
Well, getting up at 7 in the morning and coming and seeing us, it's a real honor to have you.
Yeah.
And says a lot for somebody to get up this early in the morning and come in on a Sunday and come in. It's really.
No, I appreciate it very much, and the pleasure is all mine, and just to join you all.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
So a quick little look at the weather, as we just mentioned a second ago, that it much better with the weather today. A 74-degree day today, sunny skies. The sun will come out today. It's 74 for the high, 51 for the low tonight. Tomorrow, completely sunny with a high of 63 and a low of 40 in Middleboro. In Taunton, 74 degrees, a high of 74 degrees today. A low of 52. Tomorrow, 64 degrees for the high, 40 for the low. In Driscoll, North Dakota, 52 degrees. Sunny skies right now, 80 for the high today, 84 for the high tomorrow, in the 50s for the lows there. And in Driscoll, Texas, 73 degrees and cloudy skies with a high of 85 today and a high of 88 tomorrow. Could be seeing 90 throughout the rest of the week, starting on Tuesday in Driscoll, Texas. Getting pretty steamy over there in Driscoll, Texas. It is one to happen because it is that area and it always gets pretty hot.
Well, you're not talking about any below 0 days in Driscoll, North Dakota.
We hope not.
What was it, like 21 below one day during the January or something?
Yeah,
Something crazy?
there was a really big cold snap that we had that affected here as well, and it affected the Midwest areas and a lot of areas in the United States with much below average temperatures. And that was one of the temperatures I think I said. I think I must have said something even lower than that at one point.
On February 4th, because I remember it was my birthday, when it was 11 below here, it was, I don't know, what was it, 60 below or something crazy, or 109 below in Mount Washington. Mount Washington was the coldest place on earth. And it's just kind of really just can't get my hands around it because that's the next state over. And so if I drove 250 miles, that's not even that far, 160 miles, and went to a certain spot, it's like going to the moon, it's like going to Mars, it's like going to the most unhospitable planet on the anywhere.
Yeah.
The coldest place on the planet was the next state over. I just couldn't get my hands around that. It's just like, it wasn't in Siberia, it wasn't in Antarctica, it was
Mount Washington.
It was in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah. Which is
it
very
was crazy.
interesting.
It was really crazy weather, but we're not talking below zeros now.
No.
Today.
Thankfully we're not.
Right.
Thankfully we're not. And we're here today with Pastor Vandross today. And first thing we want to talk about with Pastor is what is going on at your church?
It's a lot of great, exciting things going on. Yeah, as you guys both know, that we are in the post-pandemic period right now. And so most of our congregants are coming back to church, and we're getting back to some of our services and some of the programs that we offer at our church. So it's an exciting time. It's great to see people coming back through the doors. So
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic went on for so long. It's just, just took the humanity out of being with people. I mean, the technology is fine, but it doesn't, you just don't have that feel of people in the church and the feeling of community, the feeling of, because I know a lot of people like getting up, they get ready, go to church, drive to church, see your friends, maybe give them a hug now.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't hug anyone for 3 years. It's crazy.
No, you're absolutely right, and the sense of community, and for us being a church, we're kind of on the boots to ground type of church. So we're involved in the community, we're helping and doing things, and so that kind of came to a screeching halt. Then we were able to regroup and to provide some services to our congregants and to the greater Brockton community. But the great thing has been seeing people hug, shake hands again, because there are people that are in need of that. You'll be surprised, from a young teenager to a senior citizen.
It's like anything, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And if it ever came back, it's just like an embrace you'll never let go.
Yes.
Meaning, if you had somebody and they left you and they come back, you
Yes.
gotta hold on to that person. It's
Absolutely.
so hard. You're not gonna, you know, you gotta think a little harder next time. You gotta be a little kinder next time. It's just, all those avenues, you gotta try to take the right one. I'm not saying people won't take the right avenues, it's just, if you don't have it, you miss it so much when the norm is, and then it comes back.
Sure.
It's such a, you know, it's such a treat, in a way, I can describe it.
A lot of people have really struggled during this time for 3 years. Isolation, a lot of problems. And so a lot of my time has been spent through counseling and advising, more so than my 10 years of pastoring. I'm doing a lot more on Zoom, or I'm meeting people face to face at the church, and we're still in mask. And they're really dealing with some dark areas and dark times in their life. But you know, through the power of prayer, we were able to help people get through some of those tough times. And they are back on the road of recovery. So it's been always good.
Right.
And then obviously, if I can't help, I certainly, you know, recommend services of a counselor or therapist, because I believe that those two components, prayer and professional help, go hand in hand to help a person recover and bounce back. And so that's been rewarding to see in some of our congregants' lives.
Have you noticed your congregation, more people coming now, or?
We've been having some new faces walking through the building,
Yeah.
and consistently, and it's been great. And seeing some older ones coming back. Not everyone has come back just yet. And then the sad thing is that we've had some that have departed this life, and so there are a huge void in our congregation that we do miss.
Right.
And so, but we're still trying to move forward, and hopefully we'll see some more new faces come through.
Yeah, well, it's good when you just walk into a church and be welcome, a group of people, and feel, you know, feel welcomed anyway. That's the
Absolutely.
most important thing. You gotta feel
Absolutely,
welcome.
absolutely.
And then love and all that stuff
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And that goes hand in hand.
No, we are a lovable church, and just a little bit of history about our church. So the church that I pastor now is my childhood church. So I grew up there as a young child, and to see what God has done in my life to now, where I am the pastor, I still have to pinch myself into because it's so surreal. But seeing those individuals who I have watched me grow up, now they become seniors, and their children bringing their children to the church. So it's been rewarding to see all of that. But just to lead the congregation that is a lovable church. We love on people. We welcome the people to come into the doors, and then we try to connect with them. My wife and I, we try to do a really good job of connecting with visitors, come through the door, get their name and address. I usually send out a thank you letter for coming to be with us, because with this day and age of technology, you can go to anybody's location of church, Zoom in, but when someone comes into the door of your church on a Sunday, you really greatly appreciate them taking time just to come in and say hello and be with us in our worship service. So we take that not for granted at all.
Now, how long you been a pastor?
10 years. Believe it or not, next month will be my 11th year pastoring.
And what got you interested in doing that? I mean, is this something you always wanted to do, or something that just came across?
To be honest with you, I was my former pastor. He was a great man, and he was a prince of a preacher, and I used to watch him all the time. And the way he ministered, the way he handled and talked with people. So I was always curious about it from a distance. But as I got older, when you deal with the pastorate in a local church, it's a calling. It's a yearning that the Lord puts into your spirit. And it started developing right around before I left for college. After I left for college, I came back. I went to a Methodist school, which was a seminary back in the 50s and 60s. By maybe early 2000s, it became a liberal arts school. So I studied business there. I participated in the chorale, the gospel choir, played the drums, but there was a sense of call there, and I didn't know what it was. And then finally, after a while, I got out of college, started talking with our former pastor about what it was, and that's when I began to recognize it was the call of God. Not to pastor, but just enter ministry. Right. And so the call to pastoring came maybe almost 13, 14 years after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, music has a lot to do with, religion.
Absolutely.
And something about gospel, it just brings, it's just really something that just grabs your soul. I mean, Aretha Franklin, awesome voice. She started in a church choir.
Right.
Now, we'll put you on the spot here, but
okay.
You said you were in the choir. Do you sing? I mean, I've been hanging out here for 4 years. So after the show, Joey puts on your sermon.
Yeah.
It runs between 8 and 8:30 here, and Bread of Life. And do you sing? Do you sing with the choir now? When
No.
You have, or do you like maybe a solo or something like that? You get out there. And,
No. I sing every now and then. I'm not really a singer.
Okay.
I say that for me personally.
Backups maybe, or
Yeah,
that's what
I'm a backup.
That's what gospel is. It's all backups. It's many voices. It's,
I would consider myself a backup. But there are times I will sing.
Yeah.
I just don't record it all the time.
Okay.
But sometimes I will sing.
I'm just wondering on the program, do we hear your voice sometimes?
No, you don't hear me.
Okay.
You don't hear me. So right about now in our church we have we call it the sanctuary choir. So that choir sings twice in the month. We're regrouping and revitalizing our children's choir.
Yep.
And then we have a women's choir, and so they round robin throughout the Sunday. And then we have a main praise and worship team. So it's about 3 to 4 ladies, organ, sometimes a bass player and a drum.
Yeah.
And so that consists of our music ministry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's electrifying. It just takes you away. It's I've listened to. I hang out here at like 8:30. Sometimes I'm here all day to 12 o'clock.
Yes.
But I mean, when we're done the show, we just sit here and listen to your show.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's right after.
Thank you.
But,
I know you told me you wanted to hear some gospel. I haven't forgot you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put some things on.
Okay.
Just different genres of gospel. But it is a feel good type of music. It is something that not only grabs your soul, but it'll grab your emotions.
Even in there's a band from there's a Edgar Winter group did an album, and it's majorly gospel influence, big time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Blues Brothers 2000, believe it or not.
You told me about that.
There's a song called John the Revelator on that. It's just awesome. The whole album is just great. They went into a area that isn't really mainstream, but kind of turned it in mainstream in a way, so people would listen. because it's good. And then I think a lot of Aretha Franklin, I'm not, she's probably got gospel albums out there.
Oh, absolutely. So, you know, Aretha Franklin, you stated earlier, she sang in her father's church in Chicago.
Right.
That's where she got her start from.
Right.
And most of our gospel artists, or have gone now mainstream, started in church, such
Right.
as Whitney Houston.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so these individuals, yeah, they have came right out of the church.
That's how they learn how to hone their skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
At their local church. And then they go on. And, yeah, I'm not sure what the, but I'm sure Aretha Franklin probably gave back to the church. And
Oh,
helped out
she
a
gave
lot.
back tremendously. In fact, I still have her funeral on DVR at my home.
Yes.
It was very powerful. It was 3.5 hours. Okay, so when we have funerals at our churches, we
Right.
call it homegoing services.
Yep.
And it's sometimes it's a long service, but it's a celebratory type of service where we celebrate the life, the accomplishments, and how they touched all of our lives, and we do that through music, singing, and praise. So
Music is the healer.
Yes.
The healer, yes.
Music's the healer. And it's funny too because Aretha Franklin starred in both Blues Brothers movies.
That's
She
right.
sang on both of them.
That's right.
She
That's
sang
right.
on both of them.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
So I mean, she liked the idea of what they were trying to say, especially Blues Brothers 2000, because it really didn't get much of a grab because it wasn't John Belushi, it was John Goodman.
Yeah.
And but the music in that album was, I like them both equally, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of gospel elements on that particular album, which I go back all the time.
Absolutely.
I go back all the time. So
A lot of people don't realize this, but gospel music is the building blocks to rock and roll,
right,
jazz, to even hip hop. There's some elements of that in there, and it's all grounded right from the roots of the Black church.
right.
Okay,
Right.
and so, but they take it a step further. But yeah, so it's got a very rich history
Right.
within the church.
Now, I've been listening to an artist. He's from the '70s. His name's Gil Scott-Heron, and
Okay.
he's more of a does poems in a way, but sings with poems. You know, it's funny because it was the '70s he came up with, and he always talked about community problems,
Yeah.
whatever, and but he always did it in a respectable way, and even he has a couple songs that are like a little political, but in a respectable discourse way, which we don't see too much often anymore as far as art. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just in your face kind of, but it's just, you go back and you look at something like that, and one of his songs, a song called B-Movie from 1981, it's like 12 minutes long, all right? But he talks about a political situation, but he does it in a respectful, respectful way.
In a very
Right.
classy about it.
Yeah, I'd say respectable discourse in a way. But that's what made this country great, because when we can have discussions, we may not agree politically, but we're still Americans, and we still, we still, that's what made this country great. But when, it just seems like everything's off the charts now, but when you have, especially in music too, because you can relate to the way it goes, and the guy has a groovy beat to it. He has a beat to it, a bass beat that just goes through it, and it's a cappella and bass for like the first 6 minutes of the song.
Wow,
So
that's
it's just to have a wide variety of music and not be there's some people out there who are just closed-minded to some sort of music, and they won't even try it for one reason or another, but they just, once you go down that avenue, you find all these other avenues that you just like, wow, I can't believe that, I can't believe that.
The expression of music is the expression of the soul. And like you stated, some of the political or some of the cultural issues that we have, those clever writers and musicians know how to communicate that through song.
Right.
That brings healing or conversation to the table. And I think that's one of the missing things because when you look at all genres of music, it's either in your face,
Right.
and there's no discussion after it.
Right.
And so we're so divided.
No follow-up.
No follow-up at all.
Right.
And so if you take the era of the 60s brought about social justice issues, but we had roundtable discussions about it.
Right.
There was protesting.
He didn't stick it down my throat.
That's exactly.
He didn't
So,
stick it down my
so,
throat.
so I respect you for what your belief was.
But think about what my beliefs are. Give it a think.
Yes,
Think about it.
absolutely.
I always say you should get, I'm gonna go and stew on it. Meaning,
Yeah.
you gotta go think about it. Because you gotta think about it. You just can't just say, I wanna do this.
No.
Because when you think about something, you can really structure and get your arms around what that person was saying or what that particular subject is, and it's really interesting how it's really how the mind works, how a human brain works, I think.
Absolutely, and I think if we have more discussions around the table or having coffee, I think we can better be able to understand
Sure.
each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we can be able to reach out and try to be more of our brother's keeper. Okay, that's one of the things that's really missing.
Right.
And you see, because this next generation, I don't think they will. Some of them are catching the concept, but some of them are far off base. It's not through guns and knives. It's through discussion. I respect you, you respect me. Although we have two different viewpoints, but I respect you enough to listen.
But you always find something agrees on. You can not agree on 90%, it's always that 10% that you oh yeah, well I like that, yeah, and that's where you start. I think that's
absolutely
that's your win, I think, right there. Boom. You got a little window of opportunity, and you seize on it.
Absolutely.
It is 7:30 almost, 7:29 to be exact. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more discussion. So call in. We have open phone lines today, 508-822-1106. Again, 508-822-1106 is the number. You're listening to WBBA 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Right. 7:30 already?
Yeah.
30 already.
Time flies.
It does.
Yeah.
It flies.
We need a 2-hour show. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, when we first started, an hour was like eternity. You know, that's what Tony told him. An hour can be an eternity.
Yeah.
You know, that hour can make it how you feel like, but sometimes
My first show.
having a guest is tough because you know, it's just, you got 3 people in the room so far.
Yeah.
You got some questions?
Yeah,
I don't want to be the.
so-
I don't want to take over.
We talked about the church.
Food pantry.
Food pantry next.
Okay. Sure.
And then we can talk about the NBA.
Yeah, talk about the NBA. I know you mentioned something about what's going on in Brockton, and I know you guys don't live in Brockton, but they're building a Department of Public Safety office. Are you familiar with the old Arnold School in Brockton?
Where is that?
On Elm Street. Used to be at the corner of Elm Street, down the street from the old courthouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the corner there, they're building a new Department of Public Safety office, and so because I'm one of the 5 chaplains for the fire department,
Yeah.
and so I know that's the central location we're going to be meeting at.
Oh,
And yeah, and so
That ties in well
you
because
go into
Taunton's doing
you
the same
go
thing.
into the fire stations and do how's that work?
yeah, so what happens
That'd be
is
interesting to talk about.
sure. So I'm
My friend used to be a firefighter.
Okay.
Over near you, over where off of Montello.
off of Montello. Okay,
Yeah.
all
His name
right.
is Eddie Bradshaw. He
Did he
passed
retire?
away.
I was going to say, he sounded like he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah, about a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Yes. we
I
heard
worked
about
with
that.
the oil company for years.
Really?
15 years.
Okay,
What a
all right.
great guy he was.
Yeah, I didn't know much about him. I did go and attend the funeral.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm one of 2 chaplains. So I'm a Pentecostal chaplain. There's a Catholic chaplain, and then there's a Lutheran chaplain. So whatever depends on what your faith is, we help and we work with the firefighters. We work with the families. We have actual graduation coming up, so I go in and I meet the new candidates who they're going to go into the fire school, tell about the services that we offer, not just for them, but even for their family. christening babies, doing weddings, even sometimes funerals, and just offering prayer and listening ear.
That's awesome. You started with that, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, because I don't talk about it. Yeah, if you don't ask, I'm one of those guys you would never know.
I ask a lot of questions. You know,
All right, so yeah, we can talk about that.
probably, you know, I don't know, I just ask a lot of questions.
That's fine.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And we are back here on Middleboro in review. Yeah, remember, it's Middleboro in review, Don.
That was so funny when Chris called you last week. I was laughing. He's probably rolling his eyes. He called. I love it. I loved it. He called.
Oh, by the way,
You'll never ever make that mistake again.
By the way, before we continue, Chris did send me something on my email this week saying that Jimmy Buffett was hospitalized in Boston, I believe. He had a health issue. So we wish Jimmy Buffett a speedy recovery. And hopefully he gets back out there and continues his tour. I think he was supposed to do a concert in Boston, and that's where he was hospitalized. I know he had a concert in Charleston, South Carolina, I think this week, that had to be postponed. So again, our thoughts are with Jimmy Buffett.
It just goes to show that so many people enjoy his music and love him that he has to tour to keep his fan base happy. Mm-hmm. And as a professional, that's what you want to do. Sometimes you just overdo it and you get sick, and that's the thing, because people don't want to disappoint their fans. I know a lot of musicians who, obviously, Ronnie James Dio was singing with stomach cancer.
Yes.
When he was finishing up, you know what I'm saying? And he ended up dying like a year and a half later. But
we talked about
inoperable.
We talked about Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury, his last breath doing that last song. Yes. So I mean, that's probably what it is. I mean, they don't want to disappoint their fans, and sometimes musicians push it, and then they end up. So yeah, I hope everything, because everyone loves him.
Yeah. Yes. So, Pastor Ortez Vandross. I gotta make sure I say that correctly. I've been saying it wrong, by the way. Anyway, food pantry. We talked about this a couple times.
Sure.
In conversations. Yeah, food pantries are important because we do a lot for the Middleboro food pantry. Actually, it's Carver, Middleboro, Rochester, and Lakeville, and also too, if you we do. I don't know, we could do some PSAs too for that food pantry if we were to set it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been something that we wanted to discuss with you all, doing a 15-minute commercial or something of that nature.
Oh, they do like a PSA.
Oh, PSA, okay.
Yeah.
He runs it with the shows,
That's
and
fine.
it's just like, because you'll hear the one.
I heard the one.
You'll hear the one when our second break.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the one that Joey does or whatnot. But
yeah, that's one I do.
I think it's really helped the food pantry in Middleboro. So.
Sure. Our food pantry is called the Full Gospel Tabernacle Food Pantry. Believe it or not, we have been doing this over 40 years. And started in the basement of our church. My brother and I and a good friend of mine, we used to go into Boston to pick up the food on a little back of a pickup truck, unload the truck, bring it downstairs, and even pack the bags. So that particular ministry now has grown tremendously. And so we are feeding about 1,200 individuals and over 500 families a month. And so there's a great need in our city for that. And so Full Gospel Food Pantry, we are a partner with the Greater Boston Greater Boston Food Company, but not only the Brockton Area Hunger Network. So this is a local chain of 12 agencies in the city, and we share information, we share resources, because the need of food and the insecurity of food is so great now. We're just trying to stretch our resources to meet the need of our greater community.
Especially the prices of food too.
Prices of food are astronomically high, as you know. Even us, sometimes I'm looking at budgeting, seeing how we're going to be able to get through a month because of the cost of food going up. But we've been doing okay. We've got tremendous donations, and the interesting thing about it, and I even tell a lot of our congregants, I was receiving unsolicited checks from companies and individuals that knew about our food pantry, and they've made very substantial contributions during this pandemic to help us to stay afloat. They said that we watched you, we heard about what you're doing in the community, and it was great. And so we were able to do more. So, I thank all of them. I wrote them back and gave them a call and just really thanked them for their support, because that's been really keeping us afloat.
And you mentioned the 12 other agencies you have with
Yes.
this. So, for instance, if you get a surplus of food, like in your parish,
Mhm.
and you don't have the need that, you don't have say the people coming in, can you transfer that food to somebody who does? Are you guys coordinating in that
Sure,
situation
yeah,
where you can share the food
Absolutely.
and nothing goes to waste?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
So
the idea.
what we're doing here, the Brockton Area Hunger Network, and what we've decided is we're trying to find out or drill down how many hungry individuals and families in the Brockton community. So when you come to one of our locations, you get a scan card. So like, a little scan card you get at Stop and Shop or CVS, or they'll scan you, and that gives your information. And we give out a certain amount of food to you and your family, but also gives you the opportunity to go by Wednesday to go to somebody else's location to continue to have food into your house for your children. So it's been really working well, and those numbers that we have been compiling over the last 3 years is starting to give us a robust number and a feel of how many individuals are hungry in our city. And so, but we share the food. Last week, I'm sure just throughout Massachusetts, the post office was collecting cans. And an local agency dropped off 400 pounds of food to our church that we're giving out this week. Okay, and then if we can't use it, we'll give it to another food pantry. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking not wasting it, you're talking transportation needs, lessen if you have to get the canned goods or whatever across town, then across state or whatever. I mean, you can just take it to the other side of the city or wherever.
Absolutely. No, these agencies that we partner with, they've been very helpful. So we drop off and we do pick up,
Right.
and even sometimes they'll send someone else to come get it.
Right.
And so we prepare bags for food. They'll send some people to our way.
Right.
We'll just prepare bags of food, leave it on the doorstep or the front entryway of our fellowship hall,
Right.
and they come back and grab it.
No, it's key, like I said, Joey, I call it his baby, as far as, during the pandemic, I think like April, May into the pandemic in 20, he started pushing the food pantry, and having the president on, Ray LaPre, I met him for the first time last week.
Great.
David Cunningham, another guy, great guy. Chuck Hart, he's been on twice. He's coming here early this year, and I'm proud to say that my papers have been accepted for volunteer at the food pantry, Middleboro Food Pantry. I'm going to be a
Excellent.
truck driver.
Excellent.
So I'm going to give him one day next month after we get back from our vacation, and so yeah, I'm looking. If I can give him a Saturday here and there, I will. It's just I told him I'll commit to one Saturday a month, right now, and then we'll just fine tune it as if I get a day off or whatever, I can call the guy Friday night and say, hey, look, what do you want me to do? Can I come in?
Sure.
So I mean, and they have a really Middleboro, as far as what I saw last, I've been there 2 or 3 times, and they got a really nice little setup too.
Wonderful.
They're probably all set up similar than I think, as far as.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably similar.
But that's that's something that, like, I'm really proud that Joey, right, and he did it on his own too. I mean, I've been with him for 4 years, and of course I have my influence or whatever. We bounce ideas, but that was totally him.
That's great.
And it just goes to show that I did a good job raising him.
Quick,
No, you certainly have.
quick thing on go back to the vacation thing. Yes, we are going on vacation, me and Don. So June 4th, I believe it's a Sunday, correct, Don? We will not be here live.
No,
in the studio.
it most likely will be a tape show.
It will be a tape show, which I will be taping next week. So next week's show, the 28th of May, will be replayed again on June 4th,
Yeah.
most likely.
Right.
And same thing with my Thursday show as well, which Thursday that is Monday June 5th, Tuesday June 6th, Wednesday June 7th, Thursday June 8th.
Yeah.
Thursday June 8th
Yeah.
will be also a taped show as well. I'll tape this Thursday's Middleboro Matters. So I just wanted to quickly mention that because you did mention that we were going on vacation, so I just wanted to mention
no,
it.
it's good that you're telling people.
Right.
But it's, tapes, whatever.
So Don, you were talking about something that's going on in Brockton. You were mentioning something to
No.
well, Pastor Bancroft was
there
mentioning,
was one
and
thing.
you were talking about that
Well,
during the break.
Pastor was talking about there's a new safety complex starting, and also like to hear more about your chaplain for the Brockton Fire Department, which I've had a very good friend I worked with for years who was a Brockton firefighter. Man, I respected. We lost him a year ago, and he used to tell me some stories that would break my heart as far as what he's seen, and I can't imagine, some of the stories. And yeah, I mean, tell us about those two.
Sure. We'll start with the chaplaincy, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, yeah, so I am one of 3 chaplains on the Brockton Fire Department, and we not only service the Brockton area, where we go outside the surrounding towns, especially when there is a 3 to 4, 5 alarm fire. So it was a great opportunity for me to share and give back to the community, to the city that has given me so much. And so when there's a fire that occurs, obviously I get a phone call and we go out. Now, I don't go into the fire or try to, put out the fire, but I am on the grounds and I am watching. I report into the chief or to the deputy, and he will direct me to a family who had a mishap or misfortune, whether it's a relative, an animal, or someone who's still in the fire. So we will sit and we will be prayerful, and we hope for that individual gets out. Once they do, they kind of get their bearings. We go over, we introduce ourselves to them. We provide some services of counseling. We don't proselyte or push religion, because we just want to be a source of support and help to them. Secondly, there are times where someone is carted or transported to the hospital who will go to the hospital to meet the family. Sometimes have to break news, sometimes bad news, sometimes have to be there for encouragement, to support, help them to think, because when your loved one has been caught in the line of fire, whether an injury or, perceived in death, you need someone there to walk you through. And I'll be the first to admit, there are a lot of times as a pastor, you would think that I have all the words to say, and I really don't. And I think it's in those moments that people look at us as being human as well. And so I say this is called the ministry of presence, that when I'm silent, just my presence being there speaks volumes that someone is there to help me walk through this.
Sometimes less is more too. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
My good friend's brother's wife passed away, and it was unexpected. And I was gonna call him right after, but I just wanted to wait. It's just sometimes you get overburdened with sorrows, and it's just sometimes that just brings back the hard memories of.
Yes.
So sometimes silence is a good factor sometimes. It's just being, knowing you get a support system.
Right.
You know, just, you know, a hug or maybe just an embrace or just being there and just kind of, you know, maybe, you know, having a cup of coffee together. It's just sometimes, you know, words, you don't need to speak sometimes. Sometimes it's just the silence is healing enough at that point and then later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
I just tell people, especially the folks that I pastor, just show up.
Right.
You don't always have to say something.
Right.
Hey, I'm here. Let me know if you need something. Okay? And not just when it's fresh, but follow up a week later.
Right.
Too, because the reality of it sits in after the bury.
Follow up is key.
It is.
I'm a follow up guy. I mean, he's learning about that. I'm a stickler when it comes to follow up. I'm at a point where I drive you nuts, right? When it comes to that, yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, you have to follow up.
You have to follow up.
So the other thing, before I answer the second part of the question, is also I've served as on the Massachusetts Fire Chaplaincy as well.
Right.
So the whole entire state, and so we travel. We do offer prayer, closing prayers at graduations, even if there is, and we hope not another tragedy in New York, but if there was something like that.
Or the Worcester Six.
Yeah, the Worcester Six, yes. I would be transported up there to go there to provide some type of spiritual support and help.
Right.
Yeah. Now back to the second question was
the safety complex.
the safety complex. Yes. So the city of Brockton, they are building a new Department of Public Safety, which will now house the fire department and the police department. And if you ever been to Brockton, the fire department is on one side of the city,
right,
and the police is on the other.
Taunton's getting the same similar. They just got the voters just voted on something similar.
So a lot of towns are coming together with that same idea, and I think it's going to be great to have everything centralized in one location.
Well, so to a certain degree, I know Brockton's big. I mean, Cary Hill will probably stay, you know, and they might close a couple stations as in the city center, but you know, Cary Hill is probably, you know.
Yeah, it's a small little
area.
area.
I mean, there's gonna be one or two, but but probably headquarters and maybe on South Montello Street.
Probably, yeah. Cary Hill and Montello.
Maybe they'll keep North Montello.
Yeah, those are the two smaller ones.
Yeah.
And obviously, where our chief sits, he's right off on West Street, over near the high school.
That'll probably stay, right?
That'll probably stay. Yeah. Okay. So there's about 7 stations in the city of Brockton. 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's you know, you wouldn't think.
Montello, Cary, South Montello, headquarters, which is on Pleasant Street.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have Center Street.
Yeah.
You have Campello. That's the south end.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you have
That's it.
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So it might be 6 instead of 7.
Yeah.
6 instead of 7. Yeah. So it's I'm grateful for the opportunity. It's great. It's exciting. It's fast paced, and you know, especially when you get there on the scene.
Sure.
Yeah. So a lot of times people they won't recognize me because if I have a fire hat on.
Yeah.
Or you know, a uniform.
Yeah.
Is that pastor?
Yeah.
You know.
That's good because again, support system is something that's important for people, especially when they go through a situation like fire.
Absolutely.
You know, I have a demo removal business, and I've done a lot of interior demo, and I've done fire demos. I've came in to cut out the house, and it's creepy. It's creepy, especially one in Braintree, knowing that someone passed away on the 3rd floor, didn't make it out, so we got to come in and we're pulling all the old beds out, the old clothes, cleaning everything up, and it's just, and sometimes you got lack of windows, sometimes in those attic apartments, so you might have 2 windows, so you don't have the light, and just picking up the person's belongings. I mean, this was a person with a life, and now he's died in a fire, and now all his belongings are burned. So sometimes what we try to do, and what I try to do, I have people who are really good. We find mementos or something like that that are good. We try to put them aside.
Great.
And then we're saying to the contractor, hey, look, get a hold of person's family, because I think they might want this.
Yes.
I really try to do that. I mean, it doesn't take much time to do it. If you see something, I mean, another fire job I remember doing in Weymouth, we found this couple's wedding pictures.
Mm.
They thought it was
Destroyed.
and we took them aside, told me, guys, just take 5-10 minutes, okay, all these pictures, we'll throw them in a crate.
That's great.
And then we walked down and say, look what we found for you.
That's wonderful.
The woman's crying, both of them, they were in their 70s, they were
Yeah.
both bawling their eyes out.
Absolutely.
I didn't think I'd ever see those.
Yeah.
I didn't think you guys would go out of your way to do that.
Yes.
But I think that's important.
Absolutely.
You have to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, it's not all about making money and profit. It's not.
No.
7:52. We're gonna take another commercial break, and then we are going to quickly do our chain histories, and then we got about 2 minutes. We got the Chris Berman 2-minute NBA update. Some football fans will know that reference. All right, we'll be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Middleboro in Review on WVBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys need 2
Where'd the
hours.
hour go?
I know, you guys need 2 hours.
Yeah.
You need 2 hours. But this is what, like I said, I don't listen every week, but there are times I listen to you guys, and you guys do a very good job.
Thank you.
And I want you guys to keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And it just,
Appreciate you coming on, and hopefully maybe.
no. I mean, like I said, when my schedule permits, I can come again.
No, anytime you want, just reach out to Joey. I'd love to have you. Because there's so much more we can talk about, and we just don't have the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
We talked about what, 3
You're gonna do a
subjects?
2-minute NBA thing?
I know, because that needs a little bit more time, but.
Yeah, but I mean, the most important stuff was discussed, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, I agree.
Everybody loves a winner. The rags to riches
No,
story.
I have my mother-in-law from Richmond, Virginia. She's
And you can
listening.
hear
Oh, is
stories
it?
Yeah. I know. I don't think she'll call in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm your host, Chris Whitting, inviting you to join me for the behind-the-scenes stories of those who
Are you playing the
while reaching for
food
the
pantry?
stars.
Yeah, that's gonna be coming up
After Nick?
after next.
Success
Okay.
Journal.
The Success Journal. It comes your way at 7:50 a.m. Monday through Friday as part of
So, Joe, how
WVBF's
long you been
Morning
on
Wake Up News.
doing this?
Here at WVBF.
Yeah.
I've been here at WVBF
July 17th.
July 17th, 2017. So we're coming up on 6 years. I've been doing the show since April 7th, 2019. And I've been doing Middleboro Matters since around April of 2021.
Oh, 21, I thought it was 22.
No, 2022. Yeah, sorry, 22.
But he's been doing it off and on. He's like a Jay Leno fill-in for like a year.
Okay.
The guys couldn't
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, because we came on, our broadcast came on in 2016.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then it was one Sunday, I walked into the station and there was Joe.
All right.
So I didn't you know, like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe you can talk to Joey about doing a PSA for you.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Fit
yeah.
it in somewhere.
Any
That's
Sunday.
Yeah.
We
Sunday
have
or-
from 9:30 to 11. We have an hour and a half where we don't have programming right now. So that would be a perfect time to record.
You may come in with do your voice or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you want, I will do it. You know?
Sure.
You can put it on his show, but I mean, all these ads get shared during the course of the week.
That's wonderful.
You know?
Yeah.
That's probably Middleboro Matters. Don't you think that in Middleboro Matters?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I tell people that it's not just for Brockton residents, our freaking,
Yeah.
you know, when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Right. But I mean, you definitely have the stellar capability of Middleboro, but it's just need the advertising. I think. You know what I mean? It's just
All right, 3, 2, 1.
sounds like you guys are pretty much plugged in as far as organization on that. I think. You know,
Still trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, and 0. And we're back as I turn the music down.
That's
There
the new
we
kid
go.
as I turn the music down.
Exactly, yes. All right, our today in histories. 1881, the American Red Cross is established by Clara Barton in Washington, D.C. In 1904, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, FIFA, is founded in Paris. 1932, bad weather forces Amelia Earhart to land in a pasture in Derry, Northern Ireland. and she thereby becomes the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. 1992, after 30 seasons, Johnny Carson holds his penultimate episode and last, featuring guests Rob Williams and Bette Midler of The Tonight Show. 2005, the tallest roller coaster in the world, the Kinda Ka, opens in Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey. And in 2017, Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus performed their final show at Nassau. Ringling Brothers. It's abbreviated here, so Ringling Bros, Ringling Brothers.
No, it's Ringling Brothers.
Yeah, it's. I read it because I read it that way because it's abbreviated here.
Yeah, for future reference, it's Ringling Brothers.
Okay, I get that.
Okay.
And Barnum and Bailey Circus performed their final show at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Birthdays: 1917, Raymond Burr, Canadian-American actor and director. 1952, Mr. T, American actor and wrestler. He was in Rocky.
Rocky 3.
Yes.
Rocky.
18.
18, yeah.
Much more as well. 1972, the Notorious B.I.G., American rapper. And passings on this day, 1988, Sammy Davis Sr.
Senior?
Davis Sr., yes.
Not Junior?
Not Junior.
Because I was listening to the Candyman just 2 days ago.
Right.
I love that song. Because my father used to play it for me, and I just, it brings back memories.
All right, we have 90 seconds. So this is the Chris Bourbon quick update thing with Jake. People will get that reference if you watch football. So, NBA. What is going on with this conference finals series? Both series.
Yes.
Very interesting. 3-0 down for the Lakers and 2-0 down for the Celtics.
You think they got a chance there, Costa?
The Celtics?
Yeah.
I think the Celtics have a chance. They just need to finish the game. And then just share the basketball. A lot of dribbling into double teams, turnovers, and I think they can dig their way out of it. On the other hand, the Lakers, it's hard to come back after. I'm talking like I played the NBA, but I'm not. But
You do play though.
I played high school and played
Yeah,
college,
right.
but it is hard to come back from a 0-3 series. And so.
Oh, it's 3 already?
0-3 series for the Lakers, yes.
Oh, okay.
0-3 series for the Lakers, 0-2 for the Celtics.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Another piece of information is the Maine Celtics are still looking for a head coach. Alex Barlow was hired as the assistant head coach of Butler. Alex Barlow, very important figure in Butler basketball as well. So very great hire by Butler for that. So Maine Celtics, whoever their next head coach will be, is still to be determined. I'm not sure who it will be. But it is 8 o'clock. I want to thank everyone for listening in today to another edition of Middleboro in Review. We will be back with another edition of Middleboro in Review next week, May 28th.
And thank you for coming on, Pastor.
Thank you so much, Don and Joe. Thank you,
Yes.
guys,
Thank
and
you
you guys keep up the good work that you're doing, and hopefully again I'll be back to visit with
We're
you.
gonna have you on speed dial. We're gonna be. No, that'd be awesome if you could come back and there's so much we could talk for another hour.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, time flew by. But thank you again. I appreciate you guys
Thank you
both.
for coming.
Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was good.
Went by very fast. Hopefully I said something that was,
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, well, yeah. I think we covered all the bases, you know?
yeah.
You don't get, like I said, we've been trying to get you for months, so I didn't want to blow it, and, I want to make sure.
No, because I did say, give me a call after Mother's Day, but then time went away. When Joe sent the text, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Yep, I'll be there. So he texted me again yesterday. Just double checking. Are you gonna be there? I said, no, I'm gonna be there. So no, it was great.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
and you guys keep up the good work.
Yeah, appreciate it, yeah.
So I was saying, Will be 8 years since I've been, no,